I have obtained permission to record for this chapter, which is good. I don't know, especially since we live in different states now, I don't know what our respective states think about recording people's conversations if they don't agree with it. But
This is good.
this is mutual, just so you know. Welcome to One Storyteller. Here we are in chapter 4 or 15 of the Two Towers of Herbs or Herbs, if you're differently abled like that, and stewed
And
oh,
stewed
and
rabbit.
stewed rabbit. What a what a glorious way to start.
Okay, we're calling this chapter
Um,
15.
yeah, I'm calling it chapter
Book
15,
2. Yeah, book
chapter
2,
4.
chapter 4.
See, I was
Yeah.
gonna keep it simple, but here we are.
Well, I guess book 4 technically.
Yeah, I'm calling it chapter 15 in the titles because that's easier. Because if you're going to look it up on YouTube,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
says
yeah.
Two Towers chapters 1 through whatever. And since this is season 2, it's going to be episode 15 because it's chapter 15. And so
Yeah.
that's easier for me to quantify.
That's
I know it's
fair. It
technically
does.
book 4, chapter 4, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Second Tower, chapter 4. The Fellowship and the Ring, the Tower and the other tower, uh, the Return, and at some point there's a king in the second half of the third book. So there we go. Have you ever
Yeah.
read The Seventh Tower?
No.
Oh, those are great books.
Okay.
There are only 6 of them, not 7, which is wild. Um,
That's like the only thing I
here we
knew
are.
to expect, and now I'm disappointed.
It's those are kids books, and I'm sure that if I went back, I would be slightly disappointed by them. But still, my favorite board game that exists in theory is a game invented by the Seventh Tower that doesn't exist, and I wish I could play it. But Beastmaster is a really cool idea. We can talk about it later.
Okay.
It's fantastic. Anyway, now I have to
Anyway.
talk about Lord of the Rings instead. Keep bringing up other fantasy series that are different, and that's where we'll leave it for the moment. So,
Is trying to start a war.
yes, sir. Maybe succeeding. We'll see. In this chapter, we have them. The reason we can filibuster for a while at the beginning is I have like, you can see it. I have like only half a page of notes on this because
Okay.
I feel it's another one of those chapters where not too much happens. I guess before I more fully inform your view of how you should look at this chapter, do you like this? Do you like this chapter?
We mentioned it for the last one.
Mm-hmm.
There's not as much character bits and suspense.
No.
We Everyone knows where everyone is now in our group of 3.
Yep.
Um, and we now know where they all are also.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure Smeagol has set himself on a path of evil. Sam knows that. Frodo basically knows that. Sorry, someone just
I
sneezed like
know.
crazy.
I
Oh my
heard
goodness.
it.
Wow.
I hope that made it in the recording. I'm pretty sure it did. I think
That
I record everything that comes through your mic.
that was a sneeze and a half.
With like a
Um
across the house kind of allergy
that was
thing.
out bro,
Sorry.
that was outside.
No, fair enough. Uh, wild.
But
Hope
yeah,
that guy's
there's
doing okay.
yeah. So there's not as much character tension, but there's a lot of good more than any other chapter we have good dialogue between the characters.
Oh,
Like
maybe.
let me actually be more specific. It's like less dramatic, it's more like
Yeah.
it's lower stakes dialogue, I mean. Yeah.
I mean, the potato meme comes from this chapter, so you know it's
Hey,
pretty good.
I think we have to respect that.
Yes.
And
Understandable.
we have a good cliffhanger where
Right.
we are like, "Oh, who's this Faramir guy? What's up?
I
What's going to
love him.
happen?"
He is my favorite.
He
Uh,
is spectacular.
yeah.
So
So,
it's a good chapter. I like it.
okay. So for me, it's 17 pages in my copy, and
Yeah.
of the 17 pages, 12 of them are basically uh, they walked a bit and then they had some food, and then 5 of them Faramir is there and interesting
Mhm.
things happen. So for me, it feels like pretty much a lot of nothing happens because not much plot progresses. You do have different character moments that are cool to see, but for the most part, the plot is going to come in the Faramir section, and you do need these moments of downtime where like it
Yes.
can't just be everything's going all the time all at once. But this is one of those chapters that is mostly downtime and then starts to get back to
Yeah.
interesting
The
plot
first,
stuff at
I
the
don't
end.
have, to your point, I don't have much to say about the first couple paragraphs.
Oh, oh,
Oh, what you got?
oh, I have to check if this is in the first couple paragraphs now. So the chapter opens. They're waiting until night so that they can travel by night instead of out in the day because the yellow face is evil. I do agree with that point, but yeah, why do I live in a desert now? Oh well. So they do wait, and then they're going off to find this evil passage, or this not evil passage, secret passage. There is this mention as they're leaving that there's like a big red light up in one of the towers. It feels like it's watching them, which is a reference to the Eye of Sauron, obviously. Uh,
No, it's the wrong tower.
what? No, it's up
Yeah,
in one of the towers of the teeth. Is Barad-dûr
which is
not one of
not.
those two?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was.
No.
Uh, it happens sometimes. It is this idea that they're being chased or hounded by Mordor. It's like Mordor can see them going and is kind of like
That's
taunting
true.
them
Yeah.
in the distance. And it is interesting that as soon as they also literally turn the corner in this chapter, like as soon as the that little light vanishes and is hidden by the mountains, they come across a land that is not dead anymore. They passed
Right.
out of the shadow and ash and have entered into basically the Garden of Eden, at least in comparison. There's a lot
Yeah.
in this chapter about how green everything is and how everything's alive, and literally naming every tree that exists in the area. At least up to the point that Sam could get, and then even a lot past his herb lore that he's not aware of that are just southern plants, but are also
Hmm.
there. And so there is a big contrast that's drawn early in the chapter. And then I
That's
feel
true.
like after that, not much
You
happens.
have a land that's kind of in the balance between Mordor and Gondor, the west.
Hmm. Yeah, and they can rest a bit. The land is freer, and so they are freer and more alive, and so they can
Yeah.
rest a bit and calm down there, and that is good for them. Um, you do have mentions early in the chapter. Sam is hungry, so he can't
Yeah.
sleep properly. Not because he's worried; it's because he's hungry. Um, and so hopefully, this chapter will solve their hunger problem. They walk on the road for a bit. They like the land, and by they I mean the hobbits like the land.
They do.
Gollum does not like the
He
land.
starts choking, gagging.
Yeah, which is interesting because he choked and gagged on elf stuff,
Yeah.
and now he's just choking and gagging because plants are alive in his general vicinity. Which, if that's something that's going to kill your ability to live, there's something wrong with you. Like something's not right there.
Yeah.
So
Sam, once they find a place to camp after a couple days, Sam, on one of these occasions, asks Gollum to go get some food suitable for hobbits.
yeah, yep.
So, and that will be the source of one of the pivotal moments in the chapter.
That is the entire plot of the chapter is Gollum gets rabbits and the fallout from Gollum getting rabbits.
Yeah.
Um, Right before
Oh,
that,
sorry.
there's this moment where, in the midst of kind of naming all of these great plants and how great everything is and how clean everything is, um, Sam, like, he kind of rounds a corner, a different corner, and there's a bunch of dead stuff, and it's in the midst of all of these nice plants and everything. There's a fire pit, and there are a bunch of bones, and like something's been there that's killed things. And so even when everything is looking super nice, it is reminiscent of how good Gondor, the lands of Gondor, could be in the springtime. Uh, Here are the scars of the old wars and the newer wounds made by the orcs and other foul servants of the Dark Lord. Uncovered filth and refuse, trees hewn down and left to die, evil runes and the sign of the eye, and all sorts of different stuff. And so you have this picture of, even though everything looks good from the outset with this Gondor land, it's actually really messed up inside. And I do wonder if that's a little bit of a foreshadowing of what Gondor itself is, because Gondor is like the White City, and everything seems to be going well, but I feel like as we learn more about Gondor in Return of the King, we'll come across some information that not everything's as good there as it needs to be, or as it should be.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
There's something there, although here it's not quite as hidden uh, as it will be in Minas Tirith.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if this is specific foreshadowing or what, but something. Keep it in mind.
Yeah,
Gondor is
yeah,
messed up. So, Gollum, get us rabbits. And that's the whole bit. That's the rest of the chapter. Gollum goes and Sam asks Gollum to hunt. He petitions him. If it's not enough for me to ask, I begs. I believe he says.
yep.
He'll ask Gollum for 3 things in this chapter. With Sam saying the third thing is like the best of all. It is real proof that you've changed. And for the third thing, he even addresses him as Smeagol and not Gollum. But for the third thing, Smeagol refuses, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Just a little pointed there. What do you want to point out about the rabbits and the whole, just all this section, whatever happens?
I think you can see the being in a better land, and this is also on the heels of Sam really seeing and understanding Frodo's approach to Smeagol.
Yep.
And it's pretty unnatural for Sam, but I think he tries to follow after Frodo's example in his own way.
Yeah. Just him also trying to find the balance between being nice and being wise.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I could see that. I didn't catch that or pick up on it.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing, if it's something we're supposed to see, maybe it's not something Sam is the most aware of.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably aware a little bit, but maybe not the full extent of what's happening, how he's been influenced. Maybe.
Yeah. Just trying.
Yeah.
Now that Gollum's been put in his place, try
Right.
to be a little bit more gracious or nicer about it. Yeah. There's this mention as Frodo goes to sleep. When Sam looks at him, he kind of seems wraith-like in appearance, or old, ancient, with a kind of light glowing in him. And so something's up with Frodo, which is kind of why one thing, Sam looks at him, loves him, wants to do what's best for him, and so decides, let's cook him some food.
Yeah.
That's what I can do. Didn't lug those pots around for nothing.
That's right.
And that's the whole thing. So there is actual living stuff in this land, in this area, which is cool. We haven't seen that in Mordor, or in the presence of Mordor, but once you're far enough outside of it, you start to find living things. Gollum kills the living things, obviously, and the rabbits are dead now, but rip. Gollum is not happy when Sam goes to cook the rabbits.
He is mortified.
These are nice rabbits. Why would you do that? And Sam, even to your point about graciousness, tries to explain what he's doing. Right,
Hmm.
as much as you choke on real good food, I choke on raw meat. So not in so pointed of terms, but as much as you
Hmm.
choke on the elvish food, I choke on raw rabbit. So I'm going to cook it. Since you gave it to me, I'm going to do what I want with it, and you can have some if you want, but
Yeah.
doesn't take him up on the offer, unfortunately. Sam drops the potato line
Yeah. Just like in the movie,
just a little bit.
potatoes.
Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Except that's not in the book.
No, it's not.
Shame.
Not quite.
Book couldn't even get the meme right. It's terrible when a writer goes out to copy the memes of the day, but fails to catch on and actually report them honestly and fully. Horrible. Sam wakes Frodo up so that
Yeah.
Frodo can actually eat some food. And it mentions Frodo was, what was it? Frodo was having a good dream, um, a gentle and unrecoverable dream of peace, which is
It's a little ominous, isn't it?
slightly depressing. He was able to rest, and Sam woke him up with the best of intentions and probably for his good, but still,
Yeah, yeah.
um, he is missing out on peace and quiet and comfort and all sorts of things like that. So you have that idea.
Hmm. Sam did get them into trouble, but as with a lot of things that Sam does, is actually good. It turns out to be good. Um, because the Rangers the of Gondor saw the cooking fire that Smeagol was worried about and that Frodo was a little worried about when he woke up.
Yeah, and Sam was very confident. My fire's
I
not
was,
going to be seen. And then he goes to wash his dishes and is like, "Oh snap, man! I can see that fire. That's not good." Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Gollum said that's a bad idea, which means it's probably a good idea, and it does end up being a good idea,
yeah,
at least for the moment. They are unsure about it for the moment. They hear some people talking, and eventually they get jumped by four guys. I think it's four. Um,
yes, yeah,
some group who to Frodo look kind of like Boromir. I wonder why that could be. And they end up conversing with these guys.
yeah.
These are the Rangers of, is it Ithilien?
Hmm.
Is that a
Yeah.
city? Where is Ithilien?
Ithilien is this forested region they're in.
Oh, okay. It's not a city.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Okay, that makes sense. Is it? It's a city that is. It's across. It's past Osgiliath,
Yes, yes.
and Osgiliath is kind of like the border town in between Mordor and Gondor,
Yeah.
or at
It's
least it is at
something.
this point.
Yeah, it's completely ruined and abandoned now. But it was a city so great that Minas Morgul, then Minas Ithil, and Minas Tirith, then Minas Arnor, were just like fortresses on either side of the wonderful city on the river. Yeah,
And it got destroyed between the orcs and men and fighting and such like that.
yeah.
So, not a great time. So they are past the borders of Gondor technically. Gondor used to extend its reach all the way into Mordor, essentially,
Hmm.
but now it
Yeah.
can't even make it to the river. But here are some rangers on the other side who are trying to.
Yeah. At this point, they still have a garrison at Osgiliath. Yeah.
Yeah, do they? Yeah, but it's not like a functional city, unfortunately.
Yeah. Definitely not.
So they pop out and do some talking with Frodo and Sam to try and figure out what exactly Frodo and Sam are, because much like Boromir back in Rivendell, back a long time ago at this point, um, they are unaware of the hobbits and they don't know if those are real stories or something like that, and so They like, are these orcs? No. Are these elves? No. I don't know what these things are. What are you things?
I like the line. It is said, elves are wondrous and fair to look upon. And Sam says, meaning we're not, I take you. It's just funny.
Fair point. And that skulking fellow we saw with his nose down in the pool, who has an ill-favored look, some spying breed of orc, which is not wrong. It's not specifically correct.
It's very sad, but he's less wrong. He's very close to being right.
Kind of onto something, unfortunately. So this is the moment where I get to mention The Rover. The Rover is a great book
Okay.
by Mel Odom. I was explaining this to Andrew just a little bit before we got started recording. The Rover book series, there are a few after that. The Rover, The Destruction of the Books, The Lord of the Libraries, and then The Quest for the Trilogy, I believe is what it's called. Those all steal, or like it's officially licensed art or whatever that is at least based on the Lord of the Rings. The cover for the first one is this moment where Faramir is talking with the hobbits, and it's Faramir in his green with three other guys in the background talking to Frodo and Sam in the middle. Now, the funny part about the Rover is there is only ever one halfling who's at the middle of it, and the main guy, ranger guy, is always wearing black. He's called the Man in Black, and so the green and brown is totally irrelevant, but it's a vibe as the cover. And the Rover's a great book, and y'all should read it. It's very cool.
Okay.
Cool. I'm a big fan of it.
That's funny with the cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you they're not super relevant, but it's the idea of the art behind it is cool. So there's my sales pitch. We'll read it eventually. Faramir is here.
Yes.
We don't yet know who Faramir is. Nowhere in this chapter is it dropped who Faramir is. So that is curious. I wonder when that will be.
Yeah, we do have his curiosity and sharp response to the mention of Boromir, of course.
Yeah. Although for first-time readers, that would also be explained away because Boromir is... He was given some title. I forget what it was. The Master... Whoever it is. Captain General High Warden of the White Tower. And so, naturally, if that's who Boromir is, then any Gondorian would be like, oh,
absolutely.
I haven't seen this guy in a while. I'm curious. And so, if you are a first-time reader, there's nothing here that indicates a familial connection between Faramir and Boromir.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Not yet. He does mention Faramir. Faramir is suspicious of them, and Frodo is somewhat suspicious of him as well. There is a mention of Faramir that, like, we know you're not innocent travelers because we don't have those anymore.
Yep.
Kind of depressing. Everyone here is either pro-White Tower, which is Gondor, or Minas Tirith, I think, or pro-Black Tower, which would be Barad-dûr, or Sauron in general. You're either for us or against us, and nobody's peaceful here. Nobody's a partisan, not involved.
Right.
So that's a terrible look at the situation that they're dealing with, but there they are. There is... You see Frodo's caution, kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is Isildur's bane? That is hidden. Doubtless it will be made known in time.
Yeah. So at least he disguises that. I feel like
he's learned a lot since Bree.
Yes. Right, because it was reminding me of Bree, and everybody's just kind of talking and not really paying attention to what they're revealing. And so at least Frodo has improved since then, or I don't remember. I feel like it was the other hobbits who were causing the problems back then, but
mostly, yeah.
But Frodo's able to say enough that's relevant, but refrain from saying everything, which is probably good. And a little bit of conversation later, Faramir says, "That's cool. I gotta go. I got a job to do. Maybe if I survive, I'll come back and talk to you guys later." Um, and so he leaves. Um, do you have any other thoughts on their conversation?
Not really. Um, it is neat. I said it was neat seeing Frodo and Sam talking not like the Rohirrim, but now it's like it's cool seeing this kind of language show up again.
Yeah,
um,
just
yeah.
in terms of like how official everything is, or what element of that is standing out to you?
Oh, nothing very deep. It's just, I guess it is just how Tolkien has clear um, vocabulary and stylistic speech for each of his regions. Is
Mm-hmm.
pretty neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do see there is a familiarity with Frodo and Sam that changes when there's when there's a bunch of human beings who come in and interrupt them. Um,
Yeah, because they can all speak this common sort of Western tongue, but it's Tolkien is representing like the different accents and slightly different way to phrase things.
yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
way too much attention to detail, but it's why this stuff sticks around.
Yeah, it is one of the reasons.
Yeah. There's also a mention here that because Faramir leaves with one of his men and leaves a couple to guard Frodo and Sam. Um, and those guys who are named, but I forgot what their names are because I didn't write it down.
Mablung and Damrod.
Mablung is a great name. I
I
should
think it's fire. Yeah.
I should shop that to my wife and see if it'll work for a kid. Um, it is they speak common. Everybody speaks common, and then they also speak. I guess is Dunedain like a real language, or is it just it's like antique Elvish?
Yeah, it would be some. It would trace itself back to Elvish. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it just an original version? They changed to a language of their own. It was the Elven tongue, or one that was just a little different. And he's
Yeah.
like, ah, yes, they are Dunedain. So
Yeah. If you ever read the Silmarillion, which you will, if I
I
have
will,
anything to say about
I
it,
will, I will.
the names, the Gondorian names, are right in line with the names of ancient Elven cities and such.
Hmm.
Yeah.
May as well. Ripped off from some original creations that were not terrible, I suppose, if I must admit it. Um, so it is curious to see that in contrast with the line earlier. Well, it's said that elves are fair, implying that they haven't heard that, or like they don't know that elves are fair. They don't know that from personal experience. They've just heard about it, and yet they still
Mhm.
share names and kind of an old language with the elves. And so there is
Yeah.
familiarity, even though there's a massive amount of difference. That's curious to me. Um,
Yeah.
I guess that's what
That's
happens.
another. It's another tension in Gondor. Yeah.
Yeah, they because Gondor with Isildur was like the last alliance of elves and men, which
Mhm.
was at this point. How long ago was that? Do you
Oh my
know?
goodness. A long time. It was before Gandalf got over here
Oh,
on this side of the sea.
okay. Because I know after that, Isildur has the ring for however long. The ring is lost for however long, and then Gollum finds it, and then has it for 500 years,
Hmm.
and then there's the Hobbit, and so it's been at least like I don't know 1,000 years plus. Uh, I have in
Yeah.
my head
Maybe
that it's like 2,000, but I don't know that
no.
that's
I
true.
think I'd have to double check. I'm thinking maybe it's a little less than 1,000 years,
Yeah,
something like that.
it's been a while.
It
Right?
has.
That was the last alliance of elves and men, and it's called that for a reason because they don't talk anymore. Is the point being made? And so that is it is curious. You would think that if you want to keep an eye on Sauron to make sure he doesn't come back, you would want the relationships that made sure he didn't succeed. But Gondor let that lapse along with everything else. I think it
Mhm.
may partly be the elves' fault too. I'm sure,
Yeah,
but
that's one of the things we talked about in Fellowship of the Ring.
mm-hmm.
Probably the elves have more excuse than the men do, but I mean, it's not like they were perfect either.
Far from it. Hate the elves. Yes. Um, yeah. So you see that that manifest as well. It was at this moment for some reason I just thought this was funny. When I wrote they were leaving men with Sam and Frodo, I usually abbreviate characters' names to just the first initial. And so I wrote SF, like Sam Francisco. And I thought I needed to slip that into the recording somewhere. So
Yeah,
they
very, very subtle, very natural. Good job.
I'm excellent at transitions. That's what all the people tell me. Um, Faramir has disappeared. And then over the last few pages of this chapter, basically, there's a group of, I think it's the Haradrim who are coming up from the south this time.
Yeah, Haradrim, Southrons. Yeah,
Yeah. Other, is that pronounced Southrons, or is it just like a weird way to say Southerns?
it's equivalent to Southerns,
Okay.
but I think it's pronounced. I think it's
Southrons.
pronounced Southrons.
Southrons. Yeah. Something like that. Again, more, just like the Easterlings, more people who are coming up to help
Yeah,
Sauron out. You also have Umbar is the city, or is one of the cities down there, and I
yeah,
believe the Corsairs of Umbar are going to show up at some point as well.
yeah.
So he's just whoever Sauron can hire or in other ways influence to come up and help him. He's not content with just an orc army. He wants evil men there as well. So he calls them up, and they are coming. Faramir's job, or at least the job Faramir is doing at the moment, is to ambush them and make sure they don't get to Sauron,
Yeah.
which he
Make sure
does.
less of them get to Sauron.
Yeah. So he does that over the last couple of pages here, and it's fairly effective.
This is one of the most. It's sort of a blink and you miss it sort of moment.
Mm-hmm.
There's this really neat moment. Like Tolkien doesn't spend a lot of time on it. Like in a fantasy book, as we talked about before, he has the advantage of creating orcs, which are essentially there's some elements that maybe are a little more complex, but essentially these creatures you can kill in good conscience.
Yeah.
It's like unbridled martial heroism.
Yeah. And just creatures, not like moral beings or anything like that. Just
Right.
cannon fodder.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But Tolkien has this moment where it's Sam's first time he sees a battle of men against men. And Tolkien treats that really differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it isn't like Andor, which is a wonderful show, but which is all about the gray areas of like how much are you going to put yourself on the line to hurt other people for what you believe is right. Tolkien, he just dips his toe into this here because mostly it's about men against orcs. Um, but there's these hints of like, look, these people got corrupted or deceived, kind of like Gollum did. And Sam sees this fellow from the south, and he wonders what his life was like and what led him to this moment where he just got killed in a battle.
Yeah. Was he
I think
actually evil, or are there extenuating circumstances where he's forced into this, or otherwise is innocent and
exactly.
didn't
I
know
think
it?
that's really striking,
Mm-hmm.
given there's a paragraph at the end of the last chapter I didn't mention, but I decided I think I'd bring it up now, where Smeagol is describing the Southrons. He says they're nasty, wicked, cruel, like orcs but worse.
Hmm.
And Smeagol doesn't have a high opinion of men anyhow, right? So we can take all this with a grain of salt. um, but I don't imagine they would have looked very different to Frodo and Sam at that moment. Like these are men who are serving Sauron. But it's you wait till the end of this chapter and you see it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though we talked about in Fellowship in the prologue as well, Tolkien is writing a mythology for England and for Europe is one of the forces or motivations for writing this. So there's not a lot of everyone is all the people are like vaguely European or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's he's being honest with what he's set out to do, and he's writing what he's familiar with and able to write.
Hmm.
Um, so there's these accusations of racism against Tolkien sometimes, but I think that is not fair to how we see him handle things throughout the series.
It's
Yeah,
overblown,
yeah,
certainly. And I would just no. The thought just came to my mind. If he's writing a mythology for England and he's talking about the people to the south of him being evil, these are just French guys.
yeah. Well, he does
That's
say they're
all. I
black,
mean,
so it's probably not French people.
uh, French people, crazy,
French
crazy
people
people.
also don't have elephants.
I don't know, man. Napoleon was a wild person.
Yeah.
Uh,
well. Anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning.
yeah, we hate the French. Amen. Um, so we is accommodative. I can be like Frodo and say, I hate the French, secretly implying it's both of us. We just yeah. Anyway, if you're French, yeah, you should be ashamed of your people. Um, it is. Andrew is shaking his head, but that doesn't come across because we don't have video for this. Um, it is interesting to see because at the very beginning of Fellowship, when we read through the introduction, one of the points made is Tolkien was a lot of his mindset was informed by seeing the First World War.
Mhm.
And I wrote down when I read through this earlier this morning. This is Tolkien reflecting on war through
Yeah.
Sam's eyes, which is I don't know how involved he was in like marching over trenches and actually killing people, but I imagine if you're stuck in that situation and then you see somebody die in front of you, you're just like, well, was that actually a bad person, like, or
Yeah.
not? And I have no idea, and that would very much be a present thought in the World War I kind of situation, and so he allows Sam to experience a little bit of that and vicariously allows the audience to experience a little bit of that thought process, but then brushes over it because, in the big scheme of things, they're still working for the bad guys, but you do have those questions. And so it's interesting to introduce that right there and have him think about it a little bit.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Like it wouldn't fit the tone of Lord of the Rings for that to become like a huge thing,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that inclusion there.
Yeah. One thing you see in a lot of stories that are being told today in the modern landscape focus on preaching some message,
Hmm.
and then they kind of tell a story in order to preach a message, whereas Tolkien is telling a story. The story is going to come with a message and a variety of different messages, but the point is the story. And so he
Yeah.
introduces that thought and then he drops it, and you can think about that for as long or as short as you want to. It's still there, but his point is not to focus on war is bad and stuff like that. His point is here's a story that's being told, and so there's a fundamental different philosophy behind that kind of thing versus what you typically see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tolkien's kind of based. At the very end of this chapter, Sam was rejoicing in the elephants last chapter, theoretically.
Yeah.
Now he is rejoicing in the elephants, not theoretically. I forgot what the word was. Practically, like I don't. I
In
forgot.
actuality.
Yes, they are. They are there. They are there. Um, an elephant runs by and runs away and is scared off. It is indeed big. It is like a house. It is destructive.
Bigger than a house.
Yes, all those things he said in the rhyme were true and more so. And
Yeah.
he has now seen an elephant. That's all I got on that one.
Hey, that's okay. That's all I got.
Fair enough. Then what's the cliffhanger? You said there was an excellent cliffhanger at the end.
Oh, well, we know they're going to be taken to see Faramir. Like, what's going to happen? Who is this guy? Find
Hmm.
out next time.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have Sam is like, I have seen an elephant. All right, I'm gonna take a nap, and the whatever ranger is there is like, well, you can do it for a little bit, but Faramir probably is going to want to see you, assuming he's still alive. I like that that line is included in there. It's kind of like a Lord willing, and we survived this. Uh, Faramir's going to
Yeah.
come see you. And so I suppose next chapter will deal heavily in a Faramir conversation.
Oh yeah. This is. I really like the Taming of Smeagol, and this chapter is very good. This coming up.
Ah, yes. Of Herbs and Stewed Rabbit, next chapter. That thing's peak. So I guess we'll. I have not read ahead for that chapter, so we will see
Yeah.
next
Me,
week.
me neither, actually. Yeah.
Ha ha! We finally caught up. That's good. Well, we'll see you next week for chapter 5 whenever we get there. On whatever else is happening. Why? Never mind. The audience doesn't need to know that.